What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for joining for another fantastic live stream. I know we did multiple ones back to back, but this is kind of the one that's going to be kind of covering the potential live stream that we're not going to be having tomorrow due to my absence of being on vacation and kind of being away from the overall rig of things and just kind of taking some R&R, relaxing time with the fam, and just kind of taking, yeah, just basically relaxing time, catching up on reading some books and just enjoying some quiet time. Even though I'll be watching the markets on a daily basis, and of course, reacting to the Tesla's battery day coming out on Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, or no, sorry, Pacific Standard Time. What up, Ryan? Harry? Yeah, Ryan, I've got to move a couple things around just again, getting all the house ready to be gone for a week, and then get all the stuff packed. The little one and everything was a little bit more of a process than honestly that I thought. Mostly, my wife's doing everything. Honestly, I'm not doing actually jack crap. She's doing everything. But yeah, we can talk about some charts, look at some great things. Yeah, let's go Tesla. I have a video going out tomorrow regarding the potential battery day, kind of breaking down some potential further insights that we could be seeing, highlighting the potential leaked footage. Again, I think that a lot of people don't honestly quite understand the dynamics of what a strong term battery or the $1 million mile battery or I think it's like 4,000 cycles of a battery, on how that can really just drive Tesla stock really through the roof if they have the capability to do that. Whew, that is definitely one that's going to be super exciting, to say the least, regarding that. So definitely going to be a fun day to watch. What up, Dan? Hey, Fish. What exactly is going to happen Battery Day? I don't know, Fish. It's gonna be kind of a strange thing without a doubt, in the sense of it's basically it's a shareholder analyst, not shareholder analyst meeting, it's a shareholder conference, and they're doing a battery day, or they're calling it a battery day. So if you go to the official site, it's basically called the shareholder meeting slash battery day. So that's what they're going to be looking at. You can, of course, they're going to live stream it. I think they're going to have a limited amount of seating at the event. So what I was reading, I know a bunch of the bigger full on Tesla. That's all they talk about on their channel. YouTubers are going out there. I've seen their comments from that, but that's definitely going to be an interesting time to be within Tesla, without a doubt, to kind of see how that potentially drives up, due to the fact of the the meeting, or the live stream doesn't start until 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, so it's going to be after market hours, just to see the price fluctuation on that ticker is going to be pretty insane after hours trading. So I foresee a lot of trading in the after hours, and of course a boatload coming in the following day on Wednesday. So um, definitely a pretty going to be a fun time without a doubt. Dan says, I bought calls on LAC hoping battery day pops them up. Remind me, Dan, again, what LAC does. I always forget that. I always get all those new SPACs completely. Is that a SPAC even? What is LAC? Is it the lithium company, right? Oh, it's Lithium America. Okay. I thought LAC was a SPAC. I'm sorry. It looks like a lithium company. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way so you can see my screen here. So be able to see my screen here. Here we go. Sorry, Jeff. I just turned it on now. I was just talking, waiting for people to kind of join, and yeah, we're just talking about battery day. With LAC, basically Lithium America Corp. This thing, of course, has got a pretty large pop due to the fact of the EV movement, and of course with Tesla's what I call their black magic, or the dark magic that they're kind of brewing over at the research place of Tesla regarding the battery tech. That's coming from Elon. He's called it the dark, not dark magic, but black magic, where it's just like you can't explain it. It's just something really remarkable and really interesting to see there. So with this one, it's for the swing high to swing low. We are hitting that near term target around $10.91. But again, with battery day, anything can happen. The next term target, a longer dated target, is going to be around 1376. I think that we could get some movement coming into this. Short-term downside support's going to be coming around the 8.54 and even down to $8 even. So this one's definitely going to move. I think there's going to be a lot of just looking at the volume the past couple days, a lot of FOMO, a lot of potential run up into this. Again, it's on Tuesday, it's not on Monday, so we have a full day of trading Monday, a full day of trading on Tuesday, and then the live stream goes happen after Tuesday, after the market closed. So there's gonna be 2 full trading days before this even happens. So we're gonna get a lot of capitulation going out there. What's up, Michael? Thank you for joining, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't hear you very well. Um, is my sound okay for everyone? That's maybe adjust the volume on your end. Horaz says SQ. Yeah, we can look at SQ. I like SQ. I am a lot more. I'm actually in PayPal, so full disclosure on that. SQ has been performing very, very well, even though with all those other NASDAQ tech heavy stocks being hit, we're seeing SQ really hold up fairly well in this market. It's well above the 50, not well above, but it hasn't broken below the 50-day, and it's cupped down to a couple times, hitting that previous high around 133. Just kind of bouncing off here, just kind of testing the waters, but it's having a little bit of resistance here at the 147 price. But if we can continue to kind of trade between that 147 and even like 150 to 140 and kind of bounce around this range and build a very nice sturdy base to potentially get that momentum to the upside, the overall target with SQ is still to break 170 and even hit 200. But that's going to be a much more longer winded targets. As of right now, if you're going to be just swing trading it on the short term side, we're really wanting it to break above 147 and get that momentum to the upside to around 170. Thought battery day starts at 1:30 p.m. Yeah, 1:30 p.m. But that's on the Pacific Standard Time. Correct me if I'm wrong though. I have to Google it again. I literally thought it was going to be Pacific Standard Time at 1:30. So that'd be 4:30, of course, my time frame on the East Coast. I think I am correct there, Jeff. SQ. Let me just look at the old. I haven't looked at PayPal. PayPal. Oh, there it is. This thing, it's feeling a lot more pain here, and since I've been in this for quite some time, it's going to be something that I really don't aggressively look at, just being on the longer term trading side or investing side. This thing does not look very pretty. We have broken past the 50-day. The 5 and 8 moving averages are aggressively to the downside and as well. But Trump did approve the TikTok deal. For who? For Oracle? Yeah, Jeff. So it's 4:30 for Eastern Standard Time. I don't know where you live, Jeff. So if you're on the East Coast, yeah, it'd be 4:30. Really, fish. That's interesting. Um, that is really interesting. TikTok deal. That TikTok deal is pretty crazy. So I had a little of a setup on Fastly. Depending on how the I don't know how the deal would affect it directly with Fastly. It's Oracle and Walmart. Oh, what? Really? Oh, you're in Massachusetts. Nice. Oracle and Walmart. That's crazy. That is what the heck? I know Walmart has a technology division, but buying TikTok or getting into TikTok, that seems really strange. So I guess like Oracle's gonna host it and Walmart's gonna manage it. I don't know. That is really weird. It's oh wow. Well, Fastly, depending on how that's gonna work out. on that news. That setup was looking for potentially to break out above. Again, not sure how this is going to fall in the deck of cards for with Fastly, because again, they were, I think, initially hosting some of their stuff. With this potentially coming forth, we see that movement. It wanted to break above 84, 85, but I don't know how this is going to react to the overall news of that coming forth, looking for that potential break to around $90 there. But that's definitely pretty interesting. Um, Hurako says plug power short or long. Is it what's plug power's ticker? Is it just plug? Short or long, as of right now, this looks like it wants to break out further to the upside. So, depending on your time horizon, I would play this. It's hitting at a key level at 1354. If we can get that to swing higher with that squeeze and more momentum coming in again, which I think is going to happen due to the movement that we're seeing again up to the run up to battery day and so forth, that this could easily hit that 1435 with the target around potentially on 15. Downside support is going to be coming around $12.28, and that's the ticker symbol PLUG. Potential even support coming down to $11.77. For just breaking the 50-day, that's kind of going to be breaking the trend and really could be going in negative territory. I have Walmart calls for 165 for October 16th. What do you think? What up, coolest dad? How you been, my friend? Yeah, WMT. So WMT is actually. Let me double check my positions. Why isn't it loading? Tastyworks is not opening up right now. Spinning, spinning, spinning. I love the old Walmart. Oh, it's updating. Oh, thank you there, Tastyworks. Pop this up. Make sure it doesn't. Hide my screen real fast and make sure it doesn't pop up my password or my login information. As it didn't. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna put my screen back just for security reasons. There we go. I don't even want to show my overall email address because Ryan would make fun of it because it's called boomerken at Gmail. Oh, thank you for the $2, Hoorah. I appreciate that. Yeah, are you in plug? I'm guessing you're long on plug. Yeah, so coolest dad ever. Pretty. I am long Walmart. I have the December 145 calls. And I also have March 150s, and then I'm selling just some like weekly, monthly puts in that as well. So yeah, I'm long Walmart, and I've been long Walmart on this way down. I think that Walmart is going to be potentially holding at 135. I was going to like it. I still like it if it even hits 133 to the upside. Um, with this news, I don't know how it's going to react, but we could see a potential bounce here. I have no idea how people are going to react due to the overall Walmart being part of this deal. We are seeing again some little tight consolidation here. Not a negative signal here on the volume zone oscillator, but this is definitely a potential setup here. There is no squeeze, which I like to see to play, but we could see some potential consolidation here around this level and really potentially get that run up to 143. My longer term target is at basically 160, the coolest dad ever for the market. And depending on, so that you have the 165s, you said. So that is in October. That's right about here. That's fairly low delta, and they're pretty cheap options there. You could get some volume. The stock would definitely have to move quite a bit to get that premium up to potentially get to even double in value potentially. That stock would need to come up to, the next couple days to around 140 or above to really get those options to print. Even though they're pretty far down the options chain, they are going to be reflecting a large move pretty quick. But yeah, I love Walmart to the long side as well. My overall thesis in investing in is a little bit more longer term horizon than just October. Jeff says Tesla green Monday and Tuesday, buying 500 shares Monday morning at 4 a.m. and then sell Tuesday afternoon. I don't usually. That's not my favorite kind of strategy there, Jeff. Honestly, I don't do that very short intermittent trades. I don't really play the shares like that. I would just potentially be selling some premium, selling some puts and things like that. Fish has grabbed a weekly WMT 148 call at the end of Friday to cover TikTok news. We'll see what happens. Yep, we'll definitely see what happens, without a doubt there. Um, Thank you, coolest dad ever. $3. That's awesome. Thank you, my friend. Glad I was able to help. What up, Trevor? Hey, Blue, how you doing, my friend? Dan says, can you give an example of the conditions that create a squeeze? Yes, I can, Dan. So a squeeze is nothing like a crazy secret or anything. It's basically two things that need to happen. Let's see here. Perfect. Let's continue to look at Walmart. We're gonna go back a couple months. So what a squeeze is, you can see here in the bottom of the screen here. It's called the TTM squeeze. It was created and introduced by John C. Carter, a great technical analysis guy. Uh, worked. I it was a pleasure to be able to learn a lot from him through his website, Simpler Options or Simpler Trading. It was Simpler Options when I was part of it. Great stuff. Uh, love, really thank the guy a lot for all the stuff that I've learned. That being said, what is the squeeze? So the squeeze is basically the blue lines here, or the teal lines are the Keltner channels, um, and then the red lines are the Bollinger Bands. So what happens is the squeeze down here turns the little dots go from green to red. The red means that the squeeze is in process, meaning there's some tight consolidation. So what that means is when the Bollinger Bands are contracting inside of the Keltner channels. So that's the red kind of gets into between the blue, creating that really, really, really tight trading pattern. Usually, that when we talk about that base building, that basically just really that tight consolidation across multiple days or even weeks. You see that in Walmart, it was going on for quite some time around this time period. Let me kind of scroll this. Oh, so that really tight squeeze continuing on. Um, it's very hard to kind of, again, it's the squeeze can somewhat help you kind of guesstimate where the squeeze could fire, but you need to use other tools to kind of potentially look at those indicators on which way it really could go. Um, Again, it was kind of hovering around that middle bracket area, but you saw the momentum go from light blue to darker blue, which means it's kind of dying off or slowly changing. And then you kind of saw that move, and then you saw that first break of just red coming through. And then if you go to, let me go to my ordinary charts here, and I can kind of show this better. But because the other giveaways was the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21. That's the thing I always talk about. Then we start trading below some key levels, the 55 and the 50 SMA, and then that momentum was continuing lower. So that squeeze was just basically just going to fire lower because the moving averages and the other RSI and the other bands were taking it lower. Yes, this could have made an about face and gone the other direction, but using the higher probability of like this is most likely 60% of the time is going to be firing short if the 5 and 8 are crossing through the 21 and the overall ticks are just continue going lower with a lower RSI rating and volume zone going from higher to lower. So seeing that kind of come through, we had that squeeze fire. Again, it was still red and then it fired, and then you had that down day. Normally, you want to get in towards that tight consolidation pattern here. Of course you could have gotten still in here and still made a nice decent move, but that usually the first 3 or 4 days after a squeeze fires long or short is usually the uh, longer momentum. And again, this goes across any time frame. We can go down to like a 15-minute chart, and you have that as well. So we have literally has Walmart has a squeeze setting up going into Monday. We had a squeeze here. You can trade these on all different kinds of time frames. There's not my favorite cup of tea to look at a 15-minute chart, but it kind of covers so many different bases, and the amount of depth that you can go into using other indicators and things like that, it works out very well. So looking at this one here as well, Dan, that squeeze setting up here, this is where I really fell in love with Walmart. Um, was this really tight consolidation here? We we the 5 and 8 never crossed below the 21. We had that really nice consolidation pattern here. RSI wasn't going lower; it was still around the 50-ish plus range, and volume zone oscillator was actually trying to get out of negative territory. And this was a nice little, really tight consolidation. And of course, when it fired, it really just took off and it really gapped up, moved up fairly big in a very short period of time. So that's basically how I look at the squeeze. Yes, it's one of the go-to indicators that I use on my charts, um, but it's not the end all kind of thing where I only rely on that particular indicator to do anything. It comes down to multiple other different various indicators that help me make my educated guesses, lack of a better word. So that makes sense. Do you use Elliott Wave as part of your analysis? I see it at Amazon reacting to around the 25 level. What up, Charlie? Um, with Amazon, we can look at the old Amazon. This one is definitely kind of, I won't say falling out of the sky. It is somewhat in a very much a downward movement. It's nothing doing too crazy. Dan, I hope that was helpful. Thank you. That's a great question. With Amazon, we're looking for, you said 2,500, looking for some movement. I don't know about 2,500. I think it's kind of potentially looking for around 2,900 to 2,800. So that's definitely bestly to kind of look out for that there. Can you share your TOS studies? I think I can share some, but I shared it before and I got in a little bit of trouble. I can't share these up here. These are something I paid for, and those are not like able to share. But I will put. Let me see if I have a chart on that, because I think I can share this one. Then I don't think I have anything restricted on this. Yeah, I can share you this one, Minds, if you want this one, this kind of setup, and you can kind of add your own EMAs on it. Let me go ahead and stop. Oh my god, I forgot how to share something. I'm having a brain fart right here. Load. Let me see here. Shot. Where is it? Send. I'm having a brain fart right now. Sorry. That's set up. Share workspace. I don't know how. I have to go. I don't want to. I can share my workspace, but that would come with all my charts, and I have to be very careful on that. I'll put something together, their minds, and I will share a very basic setup. I think I did that before, um, or you can show where you can buy those. Um, those top indicators up there, where the TTM squeeze is something that you can add to your Thinkorswim charts. They're completely free, and I don't know why. I think I just messed up my charts here. 1 second. Yeah, I just added this to everything. Shoot. Anywho, sorry, I'm kind of having a little break here. You know what we can do? We can just do. We're gonna open, redo everything with that. So where can you buy them? So I believe they still have them. Let me find it. Simple trading. This is the. This is the right here, Minds. That is the site that where John Carter runs. He does a membership stuff. I would I think they're really smart guys over there. I really do enjoy their content. Again, I was a member there for quite some time, a little bit ways ago, and basically 15, 16 is when I was really in depth in options, switching from equities and then trying to learn options, and they were very helpful over there with understanding and really helping uh, teach folks on how to use options. Not usually what I don't do their complete plan as well. That's definitely one where you kind of have to make your own spin. They taught me the essentials, and then I kind of took some strategies that I learned over time. Because again, they do sell premium over there, but I'm much more heavier on selling premium and options. Jeff says, GNUS, please, honest opinion. Is that like $1 stock company? Yeah, I don't know. This was interesting. I saw it was trying to break out here. We do have a squeeze sitting up, but I don't know why this is moving. Honestly, I don't quite understand it. I know this has had a lot of movement in the past coming weeks to the downside, and it had a huge pop up here. I remember when it came, a lot of people were really coming into the stream and asking about it. But this is literally that FOMO mentality here. You have that middle finger. Basically, you have the first knuckle, the middle finger, and then the third knuckle. That's always kind of a sign of a problem with this large amount of volume, and then it kind of just drops off. Can this do this move again? Yes, it can, but you're just gonna have to wait potentially and just kind of sit and wait. As of right now, I don't know the company very well, but this squeeze is setting up. Um, there's going to be hard to do any Fibonacci work on this because it's just been literally in a downtrending stock. But if the 5 and 8 can cross through the 21, so if they can get above that $1.16, we can easily see some targets hit about a buck 50 to even a buck 75 there. But I couldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole because it's considered a penny stock. What do you think about Kodak? Man, you guys are just all about these crazy stocks here. Uh, this one, of course, is absolutely insane as well. We had that huge run up there with that FOMO mentality, um, squeeze to the upside. It could be. It looks like the squeeze could fire along, but again, the squeeze doesn't mean that it always has to rip up 10 or 15%. It could just rip up 1%. Like it's not just this whole signal on that. The squeeze here on the Kodak looks actually pretty good, even though this price has been so heavily manipulated and just crazy run up with that $60 $60 stock because it switched from making films and cameras to pharmaceutical stuff. And now seeing this really tight, strong momentum to the upside, I think that this could be potentially hitting a top here around the 1383, where that previous candle was before, because we are seeing a lot more volume coming in here. We could see some move. If we really look at this at with no, if I didn't know any information about this or anything else, I would just look at this straight at just looking at the chart. Um, if this can get any movement, the next overhead resistance at $18.40 or $18.40. Everything else is just basically in blah blah land, and I have no idea what could happen here because it's just the stock is completely, without a doubt, crazy. It's Anthony says, "How old are you?" I guess how old I am. I'll tell you, but you have to make a guess first. Fish, can you do MCD? Think about grabbing a call to earnings for the Travis Scott deal. Yes, uh, which is that that's crazy. That literally kind of ripped it the whole stock because of that. It was quite funny. 42 alpaca. Alpaca, you know how old I am. I'm 32 years old. Um, 32 years young, that is. With the old McDonald here, we're seeing that little tight consolidation here, potentially kind of building a base here around potentially 220 here. Looking for some just kind of just trading sideways. Um, uh, I'm a boomer. Um, I'm 32. thought you did know. Okay, I thought I maybe said that in Discord a couple times. Because folks have asked that for some reason. I guess that's a big thing when they want to know the YouTuber. They want to see 88, 87, 87. With this movement we're seeing here, really tight range here on the $220 range. Um, Looking for some tight consolidation here. With that run, when is earnings? Looks like it's quite a ways potentially out. So it looks like it's the 22nd of next month, so it's going to be in October. The next overhaul target fish is actually around the 246 range. That is quite a ways off. With again, this just has been some super nice movement here with the old McDonald's, the golden arches, really holding that 21 AMA and just continue to grind higher there. Um, it's basically looking for some tight consolidation here. To kind of taking a breather here, we're seeing the RSI kind of bounce off those high levels, kind of coming down a little bit. Again, we could see some consolidation around 220. Next initial support here would be around the 215 to even down the 211. But if those can find some support there, potentially some buying opportunities into that earnings run there, my friend. Yeah, I'm 32 years old. Yep. Let's see here. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Looks like a lot of people are guessing. Let's see. Any thoughts on ZM Blue says, and Charlie also says FNV. What's FNV? Gold company? Okay, this one. What's it say on the here? Gold. So this one is kind of you see that there's a lot of activity here, not being able to get above the 21 EMA and really just kind of failing here at multiple levels. Still kind of just trading sideways. We do have a squeeze setting up, but things are looking lower. The initial target could be to the lower downside because of that, excuse me, that movement here. Let's see here. So initial target could be support around 144. Then we have 138 and then 135. I think 135 would be potential the initial stronger support because we have the 144 EMA here as well and that 618 line there. So that potentially could be firing to the downside. If we get some crazy good news, we could get this to the kind of about face, but we need to see that 5 and 8 cross through the 21 to kind of get that movement going. Blue, what's up, my friend? You wanted to look at Zoom. Yeah, Zoom is definitely one that's going to be zooming. This one has just been completely gangbusters and just flying higher here. Looking for some potential overhead targets around the 216 is going to be my longer, like not longer dated. It's knowing Zoom, it could probably hit this by the end of the week or probably on Monday. But we're having some potential overhead resistance kind of coming in that previous high around 480. But that overall target could be 516 to $563 for the ticker symbol ZM, which is Zoom. To the downside support, initially we're going to be looking for around 400 to 397, and then some longer, shorter secondary support could be kind of coming around at 365 there, Blue. Oliver says WRTC, please. Thank you for saying please, too. This one's interesting. Not sure what they do, but this is like an interesting pattern. We're seeing that really kind of failing here, kind of breaking those ticks out above the 21 EMA. It has broken up about above it a couple times, but it kind of gives it right back. We're seeing that pattern potentially playing out here. If we can get a break above that $9 range and potentially try to test above that $9.57, that could be kind of potentially breaking that trend. We are seeing the volume zone oscillator and the RSI trying to build up to kind of maybe potentially get that momentum higher. Because we are seeing the 5 and 8 starting to curl higher, potentially trying to cross through the 21. So we get any strong momentum to the upside that could get enough thrust to kind of break above that range. But then we're looking for the 144, which is basically here at the $7.90 range, being your initial support to the downside. Trevor says, "Hey Ken, what do you feel about Microsoft Apple going to the next week?" And Trevor, yeah, guess my age right. Thank you. Which I don't really. Let's see. Microsoft's kind of coming down. I have no idea how Microsoft's going to react to the TikTok deal, honestly. Initial support to the downside is going to be around 192. We do have some support levels around 200, which again is still above it. So 200 is going to be your really short time support, and it could build a nice base around 200 to around 195. That would be fantastic. But your really strong support is going to be coming around 192 to even down to 185. Can I hit those levels? I'm not sure, but I don't know what could happen. I'm just have to get ready to what the market gods give me to kind of see this kind of start consolidating here, potentially around those some of those key levels there. But Jeff says up 400% on decaying calls. Think I should sell or keep going. So Jeff, if you had a plan on going into those calls, definitely would take some profit off the table. Like that's just kind of common sense, I think, for my understanding. If you had a plan on looking at targets on the old DraftKings or so forth, so looking at DraftKings, I saw some longer term options coming around like 65 to $70 range, but this move has been super hot and has really just taken the stock to really high levels. I think we could potentially get this to kind of maybe start slowing down a little bit, because again, we can look at some of the fib here on that movement. We're hitting that 1618. That's pretty a key level around $55. The next overall target is at 72, so that's quite a ways away. Hey Ken, are your hobbies outside of educating people on trading and investing? What are my hobbies outside of trading and investing? Learning more about. I love to listen to audiobooks. I enjoy playing video games. I enjoy um, having time with my family, kid, and wife. Just fun things. I enjoy to cook up quite a bit, though. I love to cook. Boris, is it true in the beginning of the year with reflecting at the end statistics show the pattern potentially drop, but not a dramatic February, March? Is it true at the beginning? I don't understand that question, Boris. Maybe I'm not reading this right. Is it true that the beginning of the year will reflect the end statistics shown a pattern potentially drop, but not as dramatic? You're saying, are you asking for like the rest of the year, potentially how it plays out? Sorry, I'm not quite understanding the question, Boris. I'm going to wait before I buy, see if some of the perms will wash out first. Okay. How many years have you been trading for, Anthony? So, Anthony, I've been trading options since like 2014. I've been trading stocks majority of my life. Again, I'm only 32. I've been trading stocks as old as um, about 12, when I would ask my dad to purchase shares and look at different various companies. But I still remember the first time I had to call the broker to execute my order of my Apple shares. Any skills that you are acquiring going into 2021? I've been looking for getting a Google Cloud certification. I'm actually learning to understand and code within Python and any kind of like programming language. I know some of the basics, but I want to kind of add that to more. I want to kind of do it as a thing for the YouTube membership guys and the gals, and then also the Patreon folks to kind of create a nice algorithmic portfolio in the sense of it just spits out different various targets or some potential trade ideas. So that's all my stuff kind of revolves around trading or investing. It's just a really large component. Jeff, cash balance if you like the gains, take it. Yeah, definitely. What three stocks would you buy now 25K each. What would I buy right now? It's going to be really difficult. I wouldn't put in 25K initially right away. Would kind of have to wait to kind of see how things play out. Looks like things just updated again. Hang on. 25K. Basically, what stocks do I like? I really like TSM, honestly. I'm long in that. I'm long in Walmart quite a bit. I'm long in FedEx quite a bit. Um, I'm actually looking into potentially starting a position in uh, Dickerson and Co. This is ticker symbol BDX. I kind of posted this on the Patreon page and then the YouTube membership tab for folks who have the memberships there on looking for some potential trading ideas to potentially buy this here, come out on Monday or Tuesday, doing a nibbling position again. If you were looking at $25,000, just take that $25,000 and break it down to smaller components of when to buy, adding maybe $2,000 or $3,000 nibbling position. Again, that's super small position out of your that cash to potentially kind of start buying some shares here or some longer dated calls, depending on how you like to play things. That's it's hard to put me. I don't have a stock of three lists that I want to buy right now. Google Cloud Verification you could do online for $300 and it's worth 4 years. Oh wow, okay, cool. Google analysis long term. I wish Google paid dividends through. Yeah, Google. So Google. Let's looking at the Goog. This thing looks like it wants to bounce here pretty hard here, potentially at 144. Looking at some more support, basically kind of coming in around the 14-15 range. That's going to be the 200 EMA as well. But initially looking for that bounce here around the 1450-ish range to kind of see this can potentially to hold. Again, that's a nice round number. People like round numbers. That's definitely going to be something that could be some initial short dated support there. That being said, this still is looking as a downward trend within Goog, so we need to see some tight consolidation here and potentially get some base building going on there. PSN says DK is an 90 degree. It's basically at a 90-degree angle. I think it's like at a. I do that analysis actually. Like it's a very key point where I think it was I'm gonna guess. What does everyone guess? What do you if I do this angle from here to there? What do you think that angle? If I go from the bottom here to the very tippy top at 5570, what do you think the angle is gonna be in the chat? I'm gonna guess it's gonna be like at like a 67.8 degree angle. So I'm gonna give everyone a couple seconds to kind of put in their predictions there, and we can kind of see on how that definitely looks like. So I'm going to go do it now, and the angle is 69.45. So it's a 69-degree angle there within the DraftKings. If you take that as a sign or not, that's definitely a very steep angle without a doubt. Dan says, Ken, what is the relationship between SPY and the individual stocks like SPX is dropping 5% or more? Does that mean the individual stocks drip the same amount? So you have to understand the S&P 500 is a index of 500-ish stocks, and each of those stocks have a certain weight in that index. It's not like the Dow Jones where everyone just basically a sum, an add up of all the value of the companies in the stock, and it just doesn't really give you a best representation. So that's why everyone looks at the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. They're both very large ETFs that have a weight on each stock, and that weight usually kind of swings left and right. So within S&P 500, each of the I think it's like 10 or 11 categories have a certain weight in the index. Of course, most of the weight is in technology. I think it's like at 19 or 21%. Then it's like financials, and then it's like communications and other various components like that. And of course, that those numbers kind of slightly change because it's somewhat weighed down from that. But yeah, that hopefully that answers your question. TikTok deal won't bust the market. They will continue to sell off until a stimulus package is reached. I think I hear that as well, PSN. So between the potentially getting trying to get a stimulus package, and even what I've heard a lot of the talking heads on CNBC talk about was just basically um, the crazy IPOs. That Snow IPO actually was absolutely ridiculous. Like we did a live stream during it, and I was just like flabbergasted to see the stock jump up to $320. Like it was literally FOMO if you ever seen it. Jeff's Jeff says, how did you just do that on the fib analysis? So within Thinkorswim, you just right click, you hit a drawing, and you go down to the fib retracements. 116 common spot is. What do you mean by that? Don't forget to bash a Ken. You're very dapper. Thank you, Fish. Boris. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry to seeing your question, Boris. But Boris, Amazon calls going to Prime, which is in 2 weeks, and earnings and tens of thing. I know charts looking ugly, sickly through SMAs. Yeah, definitely. Like, but again, Boris, like I still like Amazon. Like I think it's just more of like it's kind of coming down to some particular consolidation. Um, really looking for this. Let's go ahead and just pull up the chart to kind of help me talk about it. Um, it's looking at some key levels again. We have a lot of movement to the downside, which we have a lot of stocks. Is this we just lose power? What was that? Do you guys okay? Is my mic still on? Looks like my USB hub just died here. 1 second. Oh, that's gonna be a no. Okay, I think we're back. Okay, hopefully we're good. Okay, that was weird. I need to reorganize all my wires. Tab here. It's a lot of make sure that I got everything back. Yep. Okay. Thank you, my friend. With that being said, where was I? I'm sorry. I got totally sidetracked. Oh, fish. You know some Python. Nice. Have you read The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham? I have, Trevor. The only chapter that's worth reading is chapter 11, I believe, if I remember right. Alpaca says, Ken, I'm going to make you a outro song that doesn't sound like 1990s sales training song. Hey, don't judge my song. I love it. All right, Boris. I was at Boris. Sorry. And mine says, do you like SPACSs? I do like SPACs, some of them. I don't. Uh, I kind of want to get in the open door one. I'm not gonna lie with you. I like the open door, and I like Reid Hoffman's one that he's trying to open up for about 600 million, which is not even on the. It's not traded yet. Boris, Amazon calls going to go into Prime, which is in 2 weeks, and earnings of 10.22. Let's go ahead and look at the daily. Yeah, it's a question mark on the earnings. We'll see. We can kind of look on the tab here on the 22nd. It doesn't, not really accurate. We could look like it could be even November actually. Who knows? But we need to get that pure confirmation though. With that, again, swing high to swing low. That's basically what that fib is looking at here. We're hitting that 1272 extension. We're slightly below it, but if we can get any kind of base building between here and even down to 2800, that would be a good sign because we need these moving averages to stop curling down at such aggressive momentum and seeing those kind of start curling sideways and kind of stopping the bleeding in this overall downturn without a doubt there. BDX, what do they do? They're a medical device company. Okay, my thing just updated again. Sorry, guys. Boris says, "Damn, Amazon even looks uglier on my charts." Well, let's go ahead. Let's look at here on a weekly side, Boris. So on the weekly side, it's just kind of coming down to the 21 EMA. So that's nothing unusual. But if that continues, then it can get really ugly. Like, but just look at where it has come. Like this is somewhat normal for this to kind of potentially play out. So yeah. Thank you, Boris, for the $5. I really do appreciate it, and I really do appreciate it, and thank you for the always coming in and just sharing your insights. How do I know to start and end fibs? So, Jeff, the Fibonacci retracement is usually from a swing high to a swing low, or vice versa. We did talk about Tesla, but we can talk about Tesla in a second. Stream stop for a second, but it's okay. Okay, yeah, the volume. Again, I think the USB device kind of failed here. Yeah, we're gonna do Tesla. It's real estate companies by Chamath. Yeah, Chamath Papatil, whatever his name. Love to have him on the. Love to have him here on an interview for the Dyslexic Investor. Should I reach out to him and see if he can do? I know. I know. Actually, I'm giving too much away. I know someone that's close to him that I can potentially. Um, I don't know. I'll see what I can do. I wanted to kind of work on this on my vacation is to start getting some really cool investors or hedge fund managers on the show and kind of create like a Zoom interview process and kind of make a really fun experience around that. So if you guys are into that, that is definitely something I can start working on and really get going. My microphone's a bit low. How about now? I would turn the gains up a little bit. I'll reach out to Chamath see if I can get on his DM. So Open Door is basically a company that just buys real estate without really uh, being there. Like it's a very streamlined process. It's just kind of going out there. Yeah, turn up the gains, Ryan. Let's go ahead and look at the old Tesla. I actually want to show you this guy on a weekly chart here. Looking for this kind of movement here again. Look how high we've come and gone here with the Tesla here. Let me just do this with this movement again. This whole even the pandemic we came broke through the 21 EMA. As of right now, we're still really climbing higher, still trading between that 5 and 8 moving averages. Consider those very heavy uh, movement there's. Oh, it Reed Hoffman SPAC is trading now. Is it really? I thought it wasn't. RTP. Oh, it's not. Okay, that's the symbol. Okay, but it's not. It's not ready yet. Okay, you got me too excited there, man. I'm a huge fan of Reed Hoffman. With Tesla, we're seeing that 5 and 8 moving averages really high, and just those 5 and 8 moving averages are those very aggressive moving averages in that channel continue to go higher here. Initial short dated support here is kind of coming around the 375 for Tesla, even though it has this huge hype up for battery day. This is definitely going to be a catalyst, but I think the thing is I think the hype up for Battery Day has already happened. I think that we could get some more buying into Monday or Tuesday, but I think the largest catalyst is going to be happening from Tuesday to Wednesday because once we get the information and get all the crazy understanding and just the technology or any kind of large advancements into that kind of tech, we can definitely see a pretty large movement higher with the stock. If there's any kind of baseline of improving of uh, vehicle drive range to the life cycle of the batteries to just the charging capacity of the things as well. So Yeah, I love Tesla without a doubt, and I love everything it stands for. Let me go. I messed up my charts. Um, but again, it's still kind of hitting its key range. If it can break above 460, we're definitely going to test that $500 range again with that FOMO mentality and all those people potentially jumping into the stock. Monday, Tuesday, we can easily see that kind of play out. So I'm definitely going to be a little bit. I'm selling puts on the stock as of right now. I do have longer term shares, but I'm selling some puts around 370 ish when it kind of bounce back here. Read Hoff Specs is RPT in the ticker. Okay, thank you for sharing that. I'm a real estate agent in California. Redfin and Zillow are crushing it. Open Door should be incredibly well. Oh, I didn't know that, Trevor. That's awesome. Where do you live in California? Do you live in LA? I have family in LA. Tesla volume at 500 the next week. Does it mean? What does it mean? With the open interest here on Tesla for next week, it doesn't mean that it has to go to that price, but it's definitely going to be somewhat of a magnet. So any kind of good news, we're definitely going to be coming up really high into that range there. So we could really see that potentially just kind of drive up the price. Again, if something if something happens, something the batteries doesn't do well or whatever could happen. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. And we get the bear to come in and doing his little happy dance all over the stock, and the stock kind of comes really aggressively to the downside. We could definitely see some selling. And those options, all those 355, 3,500, sorry, 3,500. Oh my gosh, 35,000 of those options between that and then even the 495 are definitely going to be feeling a little bit of less love going forth there. Mm. Yeah, RTP. I gotta write that down. I gotta write that in my notes. Write that in my old fashioned notebook. My old Reed Hoffman, my friend. SHLL, what's up, Dyslexic? What's up, my friend? Yes, we can look at that one as well. That's definitely going to be um, one that has been moving, and it's not a Nikola. I had a fearful of buying into some of these other SPACs due to the fact that Nikola potentially tainted the market with their complete BS and their sales pitch, and then their vapor, just basically their smoke and mirrors kind of thing, and then of course their overall I'm not gonna say it's a fraud, but it's definitely not looking pretty for them. With this one, we're looking some really pretty bouncing here on that 21 EMA, which we've seen the past couple days, not to the tick, but it did have a little bit of movement to the downside here. We are also potentially looking for some nearsighted targets above 55. Let me just do a quick fib here, looking for the targets between the previous swing high to low to around $63.54. Again, this is still a company that is a trucking company that basically manufactures a very easy add-on process into existing trucks to kind of help their mileage and just basically cut down some fuel cost. And they have a product that does that right now. It's not a 3D render, so you need to own shares and sell puts. You need to own shares to sell puts? No, I don't. I can sell puts all day if I wanted to. It's my margin account, my trading account. And mine says RT underscore U is active, bro. I just typed it in. RTPU. Slash U? There's no way I can buy a slash U. How about now? That sound better? Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely going to be one read that it's definitely going to be a very interesting one to see. It's definitely we got our uh, there. I think they're talking about the document I was looking for. This particular SPAC is basically looking. I think it's $600 million, and they're looking to acquire anything, any kind of company in the technology space. Because again, it's also the founder or co-founder of Zynga is on there as well. That put in a nice bit of capital, and he is also that potentially looking for I think they were looking for like newer technologies within audio and technical communications, but yeah, you don't know what's going to be on it. Yeah, I had to disconnect, reconnect the microphone again. I move around my hands a lot, and I think I tap the microphone or the cable. The cable on these, it's a brand new Blue Yeti X Pro microphone, and they cannot get the cable to stay in the flipping hole. Like it literally always falls out if I touch, if I move around my desk or anything. It just literally, if I look at it wrong, the cable falls out. It's not a crappy microphone. It's just not a great design. Thank you guys for all the feedback, though. I know I'm trying to learn on all this funny, fun stuff. You mentioned coding earlier. Have you ever messed with the wizard and script editor on TOS much? You can see it up on the indicators based on the rules and trading style. I have played it with it a little bit. I've broken a lot of things, which is good, right? Um, that's definitely looking forward to kind of potentially play out. Like, I'm really looking to have a really nice custom scan that I'm kind of working on for the squeeze to potentially give me some stocks that I could be looking for on a daily basis. And of course, I can share with you fine folks on a stream or the folks within the Patreon page or the folks on YouTube membership or even on Discord that we can have a nice little fun thing to kind of look at some potential stocks that are moving on high volume but follow under these certain parameters and just be very particular on the way I trade and look at things. Yeah, and of course do coding for other things because again, I think it's just very necessary to understand on how that works. Three favorite books of all time. Oh my gosh, The Hungry Caterpillar, the Bible, and I don't know the third book. I'm just joking about those other two ones. What three books have I loved to read? I actually really enjoyed the book that I just read. What was it? Hold on, let's pull up another chart here real fast while we're looking at this. What is the book I just honestly nothing really comes to mind right now on my favorite book. I read a fantastic book. Um, honestly, Market Wizards was very inspirational for me when I was first read that many years ago. Um, basically, uh, that really opened up my mind on how much money people made trading. So it's quite crazy on that aspect of that. Rainbow fish, heck yes. Been reading Proverbs in the morning. Nice. I've been actually trying to meditate more. Keyword try, but not doing it. I need to be able to meditate, relax, quiet time, do that Headspace app or Calm. Uh, definitely going to be that Calm app looks interesting. I haven't seen that. No, I haven't seen that. No, Market Wizards is fantastic. I love it. Definitely all great stuff. GP says Workhorse came back from the grave on news. UPS, your thoughts? USPS, sorry. Let's see here. Let's go. Okay, Workhorse. Yeah, this I wouldn't say it came back from the grave. It neither really smoke a joint. Ryan, you know I can't do that. Boris says Market Wizards. Yeah, Market Wizards. Let me see. They're actually coming out with a new one. Um, Market Wizards by It's like Jack something. Jack's. Here. It's kind of so I love. It's a good book. It was written many years ago, so it's going to be a lot of people in the commodities trading because again, it's like the 80s to 90s. But it's definitely a very interesting book to check out. Here's the link to. I think it's the right one I just sent you, but that will get you in the right direction there, Boris. So with Workhorse, like we talked about here, it had that squeeze sitting up for quite some time. We bought into this here. Once it popped, it hit our key level around $25, and I actually got out of it. I don't think I have any more right now. If it is, it's a very, very small position. Um, but this thing has really just taken off again due to the overall news. The news hasn't been officially out yet. It has not been released that they did get the bid, correct? Unless that broke too as well, because I haven't seen it yet. I don't I don't think dyslexic smoke weed. I only have so many brain cells, honestly, and I can't let them to get burnt up there. And of course, with uh, the job that I do for my IT stuff, I'm not able to do recreational drugs. They call. With Workhorse, we're definitely looking for it is trying to create a magnet here. I have a target above like $38. If that news does come out, and we can easily see this potentially pop up to that $38 level. We can even see 53 potentially. I know this seems extreme. That is definitely a very interesting one as well. There. See here. K nerd need cake, and we look at ZM, please. Thank you for saying please. Of course, we can look at Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. This thing has been really aggressive here. We're holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. Next overhead target's gonna be around 450. It's looking like it really wants to break up to that all-time high above like basically 480 and potentially higher to that 515 to 516. If this starts breaking down, probably start below like 400. With the next line of support is going to be around 368, or the 21 EMA, even down to around the 334, are still somewhat of an aggressive movement with the stock. But again, this has been such a high flyer that could easily be said than done. But if we start getting below the 50-day and further to the downside, that's going to be creating a lot of selling going forth there. SY says, how do you what's that? How do you set up a scanner, if any? You just go to the tab here, you type scan, and you just put in your different qualifications. So you just hit add condition. You can add different components from um, whatever you want. Like I can get rid of all of these, and I have some of my presets on here as well. But then you can just do. They have some generic ones they can kind of give on here, like the top 10. Like let's do the most active stocks on NYSE, and then of course your scans kind of you can do by the volume and so forth. You can kind of move this around here a little bit, and of course you get all those stocks from there, and you can kind of arrange it to which way you want there. Of course, you can go in the crazy custom tab and you start adding other filters from stock studies and patterns. And as well from there, it's definitely something I want to be getting into more and just kind of sharing with everyone there. Trevor, I do know Jim Cramer. Yes, I don't know him personally, but yes, I have listened to him many times before and read his books. Katja Handel says, but would, but why would GM invest so much? I don't know, honestly, why they would buy into Nikola. Honestly, um, I, as much as I think Nikola is just kind of a not the world's greatest company to kind of get in there. Um, I think that Nikola still has somewhat of a place. Honestly, I know there's a lot of people allocating saying that Trevor Milton's a scammer, blah 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 blah, and all this negative stuff. That's fine and dandy, but that's there's still somewhat of a company there, and it's still doing something. Is it going to come in crashing down to zero? I don't know. Uh, I don't think anyone really who's on YouTube and things that have has any kind of special impact on it in the sense of they don't have knowledge more than some of the banks would know. I just find it's funny that everyone on YouTube and especially thinking like, oh, I called this months ago, blah blah blah. I don't think everyone's kind of been on the same page. I think of like, hey, this seems a little strange that this guy since like 2015, 2016 has been constantly pushing out these potential trucks and is kicking the ball down the road. Um, I think the truck will maybe get made, but I don't think a Nikola's going to be the main component of it. I think it's going to be like a GM or some of these other larger manufacturers there that's going to be just kind of just really just taking on that headwind there. Yeah, I don't think he called her crazy. I think he's kind of got his words in front of his what he was trying to say. He was just basically mimicking something that that President Trump called her. But yes, it was inappropriate. But I think it was just a mistake. He's on the air quite a bit, and I've said some dumb things on my stream before. So, uh, the coolest ever. Can you upload a custom scanner for us to use? Um, yeah, I think, yeah, so I don't know if everyone doesn't know, I'm gonna be going on vacation and I'm gonna be working on quite a different things on getting a scanner and a different way to share my charts, kind of improve the stream overall, and a lot of fun things to kind of make this more interactive, more fun for the people watching, and more educational, and just the overall for you to ever get more things out of it, and of course, just make it again much more entertaining in the sense of that kind of fun stuff. But that being said, I want to just to share with the Discord, share with all the people, all the people that believe in the channel on the Patreon page and the YouTube membership tab that has been there since the beginning and supporting the channel. I'm very grateful that this is even existing, coming out, and saying that I'm dyslexic and just talking about stocks is uh, builds a lot of confidence in the presence of my dyslexia, to be quite honest. Because again, you're a little shy about it, right? Like you don't see people with the word dyslexia or I'm dyslexic on their chest. So yeah. Sullivan says Tesla, please. Yes, we look at Tesla again. Of course, this thing has been on everyone's mind with again that battery day. We're looking for some consolidation around 450. Really looking to kind of test the 475. If we can get break above that, that $500 is really the next overhaul target that we could be looking at. Downside, really going to be looking for some support around 400 and even down to around the $353 there to the downside. I would be very surprised if Amazon's not 250 by the end of the year. Sorry, Microsoft by the end of the year by 250. I think so too. I think Azure is very underrated, and especially their Microsoft Teams. think it's a good way to put it there, VAG. Basically, GM, I think it was like 11% of the company. So, and it's basically what at the time was valued at about $2 billion, to basically help them manufacture the truck. It wasn't even clear. Like, I've watched multiple interviews of the GM managers and then Trevor Milton talk about it, and I honestly didn't understand anything that was happening. Ryan saying puts on Pelosi. We're all human, yeah. In the words of Elizabeth Holmes, that should never start any sentence there. Never anything, any sentences that starts like from the words of Elizabeth Holmes. Just stop right there. I can't read the rest. It's not a custom indicator when to buy or sell the stock. You never know. That doesn't exist, I guess. Ken, you should write a book on ebooks that should be in the stocks. Dyslexia. I'll buy and sell thousands subscribers. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Microsoft Teams greater than Zoom in 2021. I think Microsoft Teams has the capability, but I think Zoom has a story, and people love that pure play story. I think net, sorry, Microsoft has kind of sort of a negative stigmatism to it due to the fact of people kind of skew it as the old kind of Bill Gates reign, and even all the way to um, what's his name? Not Bomber time frame, and it kind of has that little spin on it still. So I think Zoom, it's that fresh, sexy IPO. It just really has that hype behind it. Not a newer IPO, but it's a newer stock, and it's a pure play in that industry instead of just buying some other issues of Microsoft dealing with Xboxes and all that other kind of stuff that they sell between the Windows phones and all kind of things. So that being said, yeah, I think Zoom is still here to stay, and I think it can definitely go higher. Vang says, "Hey, can we look at Lulu, please?" Yes, and thank you for saying please. I appreciate that. With Lulu, looking for some initial bouncing here around the 144 range, around 293. Potentially looking for some potential resistance here, but we are seeing that it's a very aggressive pattern to the downside. And since we're still seeing red candles and not seeing any green, this could be an overexertion, but we're not even seeing the overexertion on the daily side in the RSI. But that being said, this would be a potential initial stop. But that being said, that we could be coming all the way down to around 277 for that next leg lower. We are seeing again that was only one day where it kind of bounced off that, so we could really see this kind of just trade sideways here. If it starts breaking below that 293, that again that next stop's going to be coming around 275 there potentially. Um, with that movement again, what we're really looking for is a somewhat of a recovery by base building, meaning it just kind of trades sideways for a couple days. Even if it does like a very aggressive V-shaped recovery, it needs a lot of momentum and something behind to kind of keep it going. If it has a large move up, we can kind of just see how it plays out. But if it doesn't hold around that 194, 190, sorry, 194 to 294 to 295, and it doesn't break up and it kind of fails at the 21, that trend is still lower. So I like to see stocks more kind of decline and base build and kind of work its way higher rather than just doing a quick V-shaped recovery because again, I don't think it really flushed those potential people out a fat good enough amount. And what's your opinion on the S&P 500 closing below the 50-day? Did it close below the 50-day? Yeah, it did. Sorry. I was thinking of something else. I don't like the pattern. I think that we could be seeing some potentially more selling. That being said, there's going to be a pretty large divergence between the bulls and the bears. Because again, we're seeing stocks like Tesla performing super well, but then you see stocks like Amazon coming down. You have some fantastic stocks like FedEx printing higher, and then you have stocks like Zillow and TSM, and even Lennar that I also like, just continue going higher. But then you're just kind of having the overall market kind of in like a weird capitulation mode. I don't think the Zoom's any kind of connected to the China thing though, is it? I think Zoom's a complete US based company, right? I didn't know there was anything with the CCP with Zoom. Let's see. Baba, pretty pleased with sprinkles on top. Alexander, that's a great way to ask there. And I love sprinkles. Would love a brownie right now, though. Not a pop brownie, Ryan. Just a plain old brownie. Baba, we had this circle out here to potentially kind of call a bottom here. This kind of has worked. Again, we talked about that movement between that 21 and 34 for being a buying opportunity. We're still seeing this kind of play out here. Again, between the 275 to around the 268 to kind of be some base building material here. The only thing is here that we need to see some particular more indications of some volume coming in here to kind of see how this plays out. If we can get a nice base building here, staying above that like 268 range, we can easily see, and with some volume and some a good catalyst and some again buying coming into the stock, we can see it easily come back up to 284 with the longer dated target around 312 and within the Alibaba. Blue, what's up, my friend? Thank you for joining. He says Netflix. Yeah, Netflix. Netflix. What's a good show to watch on Netflix? Since I'm going on vacation, I can watch some Netflix now. With Netflix, swing high to swing low and swing high. We're looking for some potential support around 471. Could easily come down to 448 or basically just call it 450. But this is looking for some potential holding pattern, excuse me, around this level here. And we'll see how this plays out with the overall market, because again, this has kind of come down with again those very tech heavy stocks. We're having the 5 and 8 moving averages cross through the 21 and still kind of pointing aggressively to the downside. But we're looking for this potentially to start bouncing and again base build here. The momentum's still red, but if we start seeing some more yellow kind of come in, that could be sort of signaling to the bottom. And the RSI is not really printing to an aggressive range. It's still kind of holding around the 40 range. The only thing that's concerning is the volume zone oscillator. So if this starts compiling and getting higher, start getting that negative number to around like negative 20 and start making its way to zero, we could see some potentially trend change in here with the old Netflix there. Stranger Things, already watched it. SY, thank you. Black Mirror, love it. That's probably one of the best shows. Kingdom, I think I've watched a little bit of Kingdom. There's quite a few seasons of those though. I love Black Mirror though. Right. Let's see here. Thank you, Trevor. Appreciate it. Have you been trading Armino stocks live? Have you traded LA stocks live? He's crushing it and think you can do the same very soon. I know. I think I know who you're talking about. There's a lot of people that do live streaming for stocks, but again, I haven't obligations to a full time job, so I have to. That kind of comes first. Blue says AMD and Nvidia. Yes, let's go ahead. I'm sorry. No, sorry. Oh, sorry. He didn't say AMD. He said Adobe. So Adobe really got hit, but it's been crazy with this one because again, it looks like the movement was crazy, but we still are still above that 50 day. That's the crazy thing. this really was a head fake. Like I was like, oh no, this is going to be really bad for the old Adobe. But we're kind of still holding above that 458 to around the 465 range, which is a pretty remarkable of what we've seen here. It had a fantastic quarter, just like it did, kind of played out how Patreon did, or not Patreon, Peloton, and that kind of came down so aggressively, kind of bouncing around, taking it down the next couple days, and just really, really strange action coming through. This is a potential mixed bag right now. If we can really just kind of hold above that 458 range, we can easily potentially see this start base building. But we need to have these candles kind of slow down a little bit. These large like movements from swing high and swing lows, there's not a really good look here. If this can kind of start trading sideways around 470 or even above 458 and get above here and start seeing the moving average start curling to the 21 EMA, we can easily see that $500 plus target and really try to potentially hit that 561 in the next coming months. And then you said NVIDIA, NVDA. With NVIDIA, same kind of thing, but it has not seen the crazy volatility of a lot of other tech-heavy stocks. We're just holding that 21 and 34 AMA. The only thing is going to be here, so if the other stocks and other tech-heavy stocks are continue to sell off, this is definitely going to be dragged down with it due just because of association. Doesn't mean anything's wrong with the stock or wrong with the company. Again, it's just going to be driven by those algorithms or whatsoever, just the overall market sentiment. But we start seeing the 5 and 8 cross through the 21. The first line of support is going to be basically around the 50 SMA, which would be around 470, 469 to the downside to support there. But if we can get this nice base building continue going here, kind of holding above the 34 MA, so basically anything above like 480 to 482, and really kind of see this RSI kind of level off here at 50 and start curling back up, and getting the volume zone oscillator out of negative territory, we can start getting some higher prices, potentially start breaking those parabolic SAR dots to the upside. Really, I didn't know that. Zoom's censoring Hong Kong human rights. Really? Wow. Black Mirror is yes freaky. 3 was a little question. I agree with that one. That was the one with the big creature in the mall, right? 3 favorite meals to cook. Uh, Hamburgers, my way. Um, what else do I like to cook? Any kind of pasta. Love pasta. Pasta. And then I love to barbecue. Anything on the grill, really. Have you any thoughts on hedging against a possible Biden win? Honestly, I have thought about it of what could happen, but I don't think he's such a mixed bag, to be quite honest, on what he says and does. So I think it's not going to be like Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders winning, because it's not going to be like he's just aggressively going to go after healthcare stocks and basically uh, health insurance companies. So I really don't know. I'm definitely going to be potentially adding some um, um, volatility into the portfolio of adding some potential longer dated calls and some volatility indexes. What do you mean that Adobe is an advertising company? Catwalk. Can we look at AMD? Yes, we can look at AMD. A couple more stocks, folks, then I'm gonna call it a night. And again, no live stream on Sunday due to the fact that I'm going to be out of town. Um, Definitely going to be trying to do something during the week to kind of keep people informed and just kind of having fun with that. But if you haven't already, definitely check out the link in the description down below for Discord. And of course, if you want to support the channel, we got the Patreon and the YouTube membership there if you want to help support the channel, and that would be greatly appreciated. Let's look at AMD. AMD, if you don't know, is one of my longer dated positions here. By that, I mean it's a longer term outlook, and it's been a pretty core holding in my portfolios. With this one, it's not, it's holding up, but it's not looking pretty, if that makes any sense. It had a pretty aggressive downward move and a slow bleed. I normally like to see a quick down pull and kind of then building. This has just been slowly kind of bleeding here and trying to stop its and kind of stop that bleeding by healing itself here. We are seeing some potential first signs of it's trying to build a base here, which is around the 55 EMA. Because we have not broken between this level here, which is basically that $74 level. So we start closing below $74. We're basically going to be coming down to like $67. That's going to be my initial thought there. So that $74, which is that huge gap up on earnings, we can easily come down through 72 and potentially start hitting around the 68 to $67 level there. So that's really to the downside. If we can hold this level and just kind of just trade sideways and can do that base building there, that would be fantastic to potentially get that 5 and 8 moving average to stop pointing to the ground and start trading sideways. So that's basically my look at within the AMD there. And your favorite exercise is also, what is your opinion on the future of gyms? First of all, I haven't had a gym membership for 10 years. I just ride my bike downstairs, go on walks or jog. I'm not a fitness buff by any means, but yeah, my favorite exercise is probably just taking a walk. Yeah. I do like ARK Investment. I don't know them at the back of my hand on what the tickers each of them do, but I know that they're very well run, and I think the fees are fairly low too, right? That's the biggest thing when you're talking about those ETFs and things like that. If you're holding the ETF for a while. Yeah, I don't think Planet, like, I don't know. I think Peloton is really just going to be kind of crushing the market. Uh, Brian says there's no chance of Biden winning. Uh, I think it's honestly 50-50, but I think once the debates happen, I think there might be a clear winner, so we'll see on how that one wins. Tesla for next week says Tay. Yeah, so Tesla next week, which we've talked about. Let's look at a couple more, and then we're going to call it a night, folks. Again, I greatly appreciate it for everyone coming out looking for this one. Tesla's going to be potentially breaking out on Monday, Tuesday due to the earnings run of not earnings run, but the battery day shareholder meeting kind of stuff going forth. Where potentially could be uh, potentially looking for above 450 to even to $500 there. So that's definitely going to be one to really looking for. Downside support is going to be coming around 400 to even down to the lower end around 350. Yeah, Kathy Woods, yes, without a doubt. Fish Blue. I appreciate it, guys. Guys, on that note, thank you so very much for coming out. I really do appreciate it. If you're gonna miss me for the week that I'm gonna be gone, definitely join the Discord. I'm potentially gonna be doing a live stream on the beach if I can get things to work. Um, and maybe it's gonna be on my phone, but we'll have some fun there. Do I think it's going to sell off? I don't think so, but I think anything can happen. I don't know what could happen. I just look at the levels and I just kind of react from from Tesla. Jacob says, "Can we look at Rocket?" Yeah, let's look at Rocket and then we'll call it a night. So Rocket is basically in the same kind of box of purgatory, kind of holding that 200 or sorry $22.58, basically around this range. If it can really hold this level, that could be definitely it's not a sunny beach, or it's going to be on the East Coast. But this is definitely for the Rocket, potentially kind of holding above the 200 EMA, which is around $22. If that pattern can hold, start base building and get those 5 and 8 moving averages to curl higher into the 21 EMA, we can see a nice little breakout. But again, I'm pretty heavy in other components. We had some really quick trades in Zillow and Redfin the past couple weeks have been doing very well. Potentially trying to get into the open door SPAC as well. To kind of, again, this whole real estate stuff is going to be really, I think, pretty large movement in the stocks due to the fact of interest rates being zero. Again, guys, thank you so very much for joining. I will see you guys soon, probably in a couple days to the week. And again, if you haven't already, the Discord link is down below, completely free. And if you want to support the channel, we have the fantastic Patreon page and as well as the YouTube membership tab. Again, guys, thank you so very much for coming out. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.